They survived the night that killed everyone else. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the emergency radio inside the mountain lodge made a sharp, crackling sound, then went completely silent. Daniel Harper looked up from the fireplace, waiting for the static to return. It didn't. At first, he didn't think much of it. Storms interfered with signals all the time in the Rockies. That's what everyone told themselves when they chose to stay the night instead of driving down the mountain. The storm outside had turned violent. Snow slammed against the windows and the wind screamed through the trees like something hunting in the dark. The lodge was full, 32 people in total, families, couples, friends, strangers. They were all laughing just hours earlier. By midnight, most of them had gone to their rooms. Daniel stayed awake, talking quietly with a woman named Emma. They sat near the fire, watching the flames sink lower as the night stretched on. They had met only that evening, but in places like this, strangers bonded quickly. At around 1:30 a.m., the lodge grew strangely quiet, not peaceful, empty. Daniel noticed it first. No footsteps upstairs, no doors opening or closing, no distant voices through the walls. Emma noticed it next. "Is it just me?" she whispered. "Or did everyone suddenly fall asleep at the same time?" Daniel didn't answer. He was listening. There was no wind, no creaking wood, no sound at all. At 1:57 a.m., the silence became unbearable. Daniel stood and walked down the hallway toward the guest rooms. Emma followed a few steps behind, uneasy but unwilling to stay alone. Room 12's door was open. Inside, the beds were untouched, cold, no luggage, no jackets, no phones charging by the bedside. Daniel checked the bathroom. Empty. They moved to the next room, then the next. Every room was the same, empty. 30 people were gone. Emma's breathing turned shallow. "Daniel, where did everyone go?" Before he could answer, a voice spoke behind them. "They didn't go anywhere." They both turned sharply. A man stood near the staircase, half lit by the dying fire. Daniel was sure he hadn't seen him earlier that night. He was in his mid-40s, wearing a dark coat, his expression calm, almost relaxed. "They were taken," the man continued. Emma shook her head. "That's not funny." The man didn't smile. "I'm not joking." Daniel felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Taken by who?" The man looked toward the windows where snow pressed against the glass like a living thing. "By the night." That was when the sound began. Footsteps, outside, slow, heavy, deliberate. They circled the lodge, crunching through deep snow. Daniel grabbed the fire axe from the wall. Emma locked the doors with shaking hands. The man watched calmly, as if he had expected this. "They come when it's quiet," he said, "when everyone's asleep." Something slammed into the side of the building. The walls trembled. A window shattered, exploding inward with ice and glass. Freezing air poured into the lodge, carrying a sound that made Daniel's stomach drop. It wasn't an animal. It breathed, deep, wet, patient. The lights went out. In the darkness, something moved above them. Wood cracked, furniture toppled. The sound of tearing echoed through the lodge. Daniel screamed for Emma, grabbed her arm, and ran. They bolted for the basement. The door slammed shut behind them, just as something massive crashed through the floor above. They hid in the dark for hours, listening, waiting. At some point, the sounds stopped. When morning finally came, the storm had passed. Rescue teams arrived after Daniel managed to reach a signal from outside the lodge. The building was destroyed, walls torn open, furniture crushed, but there were no bodies, no tracks in the snow. 30 people were never found. Only Daniel and Emma survived. The third man was gone. Years later, Daniel still wakes up at exactly 2:17 a.m., hearing footsteps outside his home. And sometimes he remembers the man's calm expression and wonders, did they survive because they were lucky, or because whatever came that night decided to spare them?